Hey guys, Chris here with The Good Old Gamer. So second video of the day, let's go. So the reason why I'm bringing this up is I got a comment in the other video saying that Nvidia posted numbers. I haven't been able to check websites since earlier today. I had to go to the dentist and then I came home and did the video earlier. So I did not see this. So let's go ahead and check out the GTX 1080 versus the RTX 2080. Since this was video card related news, videocards.com was the first place I checked, and of course it was right there. So this is apparently directly from Nvidia because of the controversial public demos that they showed at Gamescom. So basically them not showing us anything relevant to games today for the most part. Now, they wanted to go ahead and prove that their new lineup is 40 to 50% faster in selected titles. Now, that does tell me that that's obviously the best case scenario. This is not going to be the average across the board, but still, that's better than we were expecting. So looking at these graphs here, I don't like the fact that they're using times. They should have just used the FPS, but they do put FPS numbers down here. So they are saying that you can get 4K HDR 60 Hertz right out of the box is what they're saying. So basically without overclocking is what that means to me. But yeah, these numbers are reasonably solid here. Now, I'm assuming these are the average frames per second and not the minimum FPS, which is the more important number, because it doesn't matter if this is 67, but if it drops down to 35 at any point, that's not a good thing. But anyway, these are still reasonably respectable numbers. Going back up here, this right here, this light green, this is when they're using their brand new super sampling. What the heck are they even calling this? The DLSS, the deep learning super sampling. Honestly, to me, I don't really know how this is going to work out. This is something that we definitely need to see more information on. So I would ignore this. Just look at the dark green versus the gray. So there's not a lot of information here. All we know is it says measured in 4K resolution. And if you look, 1.5 is about right here. So you have 3 games that are over 1.5, and then the rest of them are under. So 35 to 40% on these titles overall seems about average. Okay, so that's pretty solid. That's a little bit better than I was thinking when we saw the specs. Just doing a calculator again, we had 2944 divided by 2560. So that gets us 15% more FP32 CUDA cores on the 2080 versus the 1080. And then as far as clock speeds go, it's actually behind. So the rest of this performance has to come from IPC. And the only spot where I can see that coming in is the fact that the new RTX cards can split integer and floating point operations per second. Now, a lot of people have been speculating they couldn't do this, that this had to be implemented via software developers during game development. It looks like that this is probably due to drivers, and that's where that extra performance is coming in. Because we only have 15% more CUDA cores, and we're running at lower clock speeds. And that's assuming that both of these are run at stock. Now, that's something we don't know. We don't know what the clock speeds are on these driver versions. There's not a lot of data here. That's pretty much all we were given. But I wanted to bring this up because in the last video, I did say we don't really know what the increase would be, but obviously Nvidia chose RTX and ray tracing as the primary focus for this generation. Now, this looks like that there are some gains there that we were not expecting, and mostly that comes from the fact that they didn't talk about any of this. They didn't want to bring it up, and typically anytime a company doesn't talk about something that's good about their product, you just have to assume that it's bad because 99% of the time that's the case. This may not be the case, or these games and these titles may be optimized for the new split, floating point, and integer operations. It's hard to tell. It's impossible to know. Now, once these GPUs are released, I know our buddy Steve over at Hardware Unboxed, he's probably going to run like 400 games against these things. And at that point, we will know. If a certain set of games runs really, really well, and then the rest of them don't, then we know that it has to be optimized per driver per game. If it's across the board, then awesome. That's great. That means their performance on older titles will be pretty much 30 to 40%, above the Pascal cards across the board, and that'd be pretty awesome. Now, once again, I would still definitely temper expectations. Now, we do have some hope that things are going to be better than we were anticipating as of a couple of days ago, or even as, for me, just a couple hours ago. So that's good, but at the same time, let's wait and see where everything lands before we all go nuts about these things. That's just my take. Let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. If you like the video, please hit that like button. Please subscribe. Please share with friends. That really helps me out. And that's all I have for you guys today. And I will catch you guys in the next video.